And we're back with season 2, episode 2 of the Macaulay Project podcast. And today's guest is John from Harris Family Hobbies. They got a YouTube channel, they got Instagram, they got TikTok, they do Twitch, they do all sorts of fun stuff with cosplay and comics and collectibles and all of that kind of cool things that I don't know much about, which is why it's going to be great to have a conversation with John here today. So let's just jump right into it. Hey, John, how are you doing?
I am doing well, man. How are you?
Oh, did your camera cut off?
I was going to ask you if it looked like that for you too. Hang on, let me try one thing.
It's all good. Oh, yeah. It's coming back. I can always edit this out. I might not, though, because I find it relatable.
Yeah, I can enjoy that. That's why I actually named it Harris Family Hobbies, so that way if my kids ever want to ruin anything or we lack structure of any kind, then it's perfect. You know what I might do is click this button.
There you go.
I think the issue was, so it did adjust or whatever. Let me go. There we go. I'm going to try one more thing here.
For sure. This is what podcasting is all about.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I just spent 20 minutes doing this so this wouldn't happen. And then
that's how it always goes.
yeah, and I made sure everything good to go. If I have to, though, I can just use my webcam instead. I was just trying to have a nice picture with the camera.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was just telling you before this, I wanted a new camera. Let me turn this off, settings. Boom, boom. Here we go. Go here. And then all I got to do is click that button, turn the cam on. Sweet. And you can still hear me, okay?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Sweet. There we go. And you know what's cool? What's better about this, honestly, was another thing that I was conscious of was not looking at. I wanted to look more at you, but I would have to look at the camera here, and so that's works out.
I know it is. It's funny because like the recordings do get posted to like Spotify and Stitcher and all of that, so there is the audio version, which I feel like people who listen to podcasts, that's more likely what they're going to do. The video version for YouTube is just more like so people can check in to see, like, oh, that's what they look like. So I don't worry too much about the, if it's perfect for the
my
YouTube
favorite
stuff.
Radio DJs, like never ever did anyone who I listened to and enjoyed listening to on the radio, did they ever look how I intended them to look or how I made up in my brain, So it's kind of funny how, yeah. But technology, dude, all platforms everywhere.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Obar referred you to your name to me to be on here. How do you know Obar?
Well, what's great? Twitter. To sum it up quickly, Twitter wild, right? So again, technology, man. Also, and we're live.
Oh yeah,
never threw me off. I was so ready to do that the whole time too. For those not watching, as Steve said, it's on all platforms, including YouTube. After the fact, but not that that's in the way yet. Twitter, man. I don't remember the day or anything like that, but it's been every bit of. So I signed up on Twitter in 2010 because it was the year I graduated high school. So right before graduation. So I've known him since 2010 at some point. And dude, it was just him and a handful of us guys. We just kind of met through fitness tweets. We followed compliment companies. And at the time, dude, Twitter was so like caveman. Like they used to run giveaways all the time. And it was like first response with the correct answer to this question, you get a free tub of protein and stuff like that. So I was very heavily active at that time because out of high school, I was into exercising and working out. And that's where I went. My first ever was like, I'm going to be a pro bodybuilder when I grow up. That was my thing. And fat kid growing up my whole life, like over the 200 pounds in fifth grade, real just butterball, 4'11".
Okay. Yeah.
A small person, but a wide person. So crazy story though. But yeah, we just kept in touch since then, man. Just followed each other as Twitter died. We got on Instagram, a personal account. We kept together on that. And then we just kept following each other. So he's got his fitness account and I just pop culture, everything kind of, and
it's all coming together.
But we've just stayed together through fitness because no matter what content is there, being able to keep up with my kids, living a healthy lifestyle, having accountability. I always hated the worst thing. The only part of our relationship I've ever hated was sending him pictures without a shirt every week. Like, man, I don't want to do this, But
You know that's his favorite part, right?
Oh man, I hate it. You know, in my mind, my
He's
wife
gonna listen to this.
so
He's
weird.
gonna listen to this.
I told him one time, I was joking with him. I was like, you know, it's so funny because I would strip down to my boxers, you know, not thinking
Right.
anything of it. I'm like, you see people in before and afters, and they're in our boxers. One day, my wife's taking pictures of me, and she's like, you know, you don't have to strip all the way down to your underwear for this.
Right.
Like, you know, I didn't feel weird about it at
He's
all.
not a
until
doctor.
He said it, you know. Yeah, yeah. I'm like, you can just take your shirt off. He can tell the difference without all the extra.
Right.
I'm like,
Hey.
well, thanks. You gonna say what's up, dude?
Another member of the
Andrew,
Harris
hi.
family. Hey, how's it going?
He's the only reason this page even exists. I will say that. He
Oh,
started
really?
watching YouTube, and we started going to Toys R Us, and I'm like, he's watching children go to, and look who just woke up. Then this is
The whole
why
family.
it's Harris family hobbies. They
Let's
don't want
get
to
some
make it
names. What are
anymore.
the names?
Oh yes, so introduce yourselves, guys. This is Clark Alexander.
Hey, Clark.
Say hi because there's
Welcome to
gonna
the
be some people who
podcast.
are only listening to the audio, so you gotta verbally acknowledge everyone as well.
Hi.
Hi.
That's Clark. Can you say hi to everyone?
Hi.
Can you tell them what your name is?
I'm Peter Harris.
I, Peter Harris. Okay.
Awesome.
All right. And that's
Well,
the
now
most,
it'll be recorded for all eternity.
yeah. He's introducing himself. That's funny, dude. That's the most gracefully he's ever woken up from a nap. So I'm very
Nice.
excited about that. He's like, "Oh wait, we're live. Let's do this." He just turned it on.
Perfect.
He woke up.
Yeah, so I actually, let's get into that. I was curious about how it all started getting into the online. Like, of course, everybody's got their hobbies and stuff, but to take that and put it online for everybody to see and take part in.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, even going back to, and it ties in so perfectly with the O Bar as well, just because back in that time, I mean, I was making supplement review videos on YouTube before I had kids and stuff, you know.
Okay.
Funny enough, so this is a John Cena shirt, self promotion. We're gonna play 2K
Can't see
later
me.
tonight. We're gonna stream. We're gonna unlock the action figure skin with this jersey. So I'm rocking it, and I'm gonna rock it for the stream. But I would wear John Cena shirts then during my supplement
Right.
review, a pre-workout in a John Cena shirt, or there was a video that I have up still where I just used when my son was young, he was first born. I used the playground as a gym. I was teaching my son
Oh,
to
yeah.
go to the playground, but I was teaching him to exercise instead of actually do a slide.
Sure.
It was like, so I just really enjoy entertaining people.
Yep.
And so whenever I first got my first job in about 2015, that was like I could afford stuff. I just started kind of getting comics here and there. Again, as an adult, you know, I collected them as a kid, and I still have some from being a kid and everything. But 2015, it kicked off. So I recognized that there was going to Toys R Us and looking at toys with your kid content.
Yeah, okay.
Comic book content, and it started with Funko Pops. That was the niche that our first page started with. Actually, we were
Okay, sweet.
Peace Hunter. And I'd already posted my comics on my personal page. I didn't like separate that, but for whatever reason, I discovered I didn't feel like comics were a niche. I just kind of felt like everyone loved comics, and I've always read comics.
Sure.
But for one reason or another, I just felt like I'm gonna create a separate page just for Funko Pops.
Yeah.
And we kind of went down this road and this avenue where we got deep into it. My wife still has a lot. I've sold most of what I had, but still have quite a few myself. But I don't know. It was just the perfect recipe of my son allowing me to be a child again,
Yeah.
but
I
still
understand
holding
that.
on. Like I never lost the interest. He gave me a reason to kind of break out of that shell and redirect the content. And another thing that's beautiful about it too is, as much as I love working out and fitness for my self-esteem and my perception of who I am and accomplishing that small thing each day and doing that for myself, like that's not who I am. But also, even if it was, that you're a drop in an ocean, you know, if you're just posting fitness content. Like there's just more of who we are in all of it, you know.
He's got Bowser there.
You know, if I want to post a comic, I'll do it in a tank top, you know,
Sure.
if I'm feeling in that mood. But I don't want to just post a picture in a locker room, you know.
Right. No, I get it.
I don't know. But
Yeah.
also, you connect to so many more people on so many more facets. Because I connect to people over comics.
That's this.
Yes. I will say, we would like to say that this video right here is sponsored by the Mario Brothers movie. And this Bowser toy here with real smoke action.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it great? I bring that up because we did make a faux Mario Brothers trailer. It's a stupid little reel we made. It was cracking me up. I thought it was funny. It's just my oldest, both of them in fake mustaches. And then my oldest son's like, "It's me, Mario." And my buddy, forever _bogus, Bryce, my dude.
Check it out.
he was like, is that Chris Pratt? But it's my son in a mustache. And then he pops up and he goes, it's me, Luigi. And then I have the Mario Brothers movie logo from the new movie pop up. So I was cracking up at it.
What's my own movie?
Yes, he is from the Mario movie. You're right.
Yeah.
Man. It's going to be great, huh? We're excited for that movie. It looks so
yeah. I think everybody in the world's probably going to see that movie.
And you know what's wild too? Actually, we don't even own a Nintendo game system, so my kids aren't even playing Mario. My oldest has, of course, he's been experiencing it. We've had a Switch and stuff over time, but my youngest, so basically, he's transcended video games, man. Like,
okay, yeah.
As much as it's going to be a generational thing because of the video game, it's just gonna garner so much interest outside of that too. It's wild.
Yeah, it is an interesting thing of this new generation where everything's already here, right? And not just the gaming systems themselves, but like all the different forms of media, like social media, and growing up in this world where it's kind of cool to see families like yours where social media is no longer just a personal Facebook wall like it used to be. It's become like, oh no, we can have the whole family involved and participate and kind of make it your own thing, right? Like your own kind of.
That's been really weird in some ways. I'm totally cool with it and comfortable with it just because I've been so involved. I've had the internet in my home since I was like 8 years old,
Right.
But I think the best part about it too is my kids are so young, and if and when, which is very far and few between, we get that negative interaction or content, or there's any of the immediate negatives that people try to bring up about a family that were being on social media, I mean, I'm an adult. My oldest kid, they don't see it unless I were to show it to them, and I'm not going to show them these random strangers. No, we're not. Nope. Not associated with that drink. But again, marketing to kids, man, and you can sell any drink in the world. So I don't remember what the original point was, but yeah, you're correct. You're right. And I guess my main point that I wanted to make in that, because it is kind of cool. So this guy right here is 3. He's 3. And he hates when I say that. So anyways, inside joke, 3. Anyways, so Clark, he's going to be 9 this summer. He's 3, 6-year difference. When we first had my first apartment, my wife and I with him, we didn't own a TV. I got a job at Comcast, and they gave me an iPad and internet, and that was the first time we had internet. Didn't have a TV for a little while until I got some patience.
Okay.
So he listened to a lot of radio. My wife would stay at home, so she read a lot of books and like spent a lot of time with him. They didn't have all these things. He comes into the world and he's got an Oculus, a PS5, cable, internet.
21st century boy.
Yeah. So in just a 6-year difference,
yeah, it's crazy.
So it is wild. Yeah. It's insane. In 6 more years, who knows even.
Oh, the last episode I did with my friend Jeremy, he teaches different computer media classes at in Saskatchewan, and we were talking all about AI and the different uses for all of that. And so, yeah, everything is going pretty wild in every direction, and everything's getting so specific too. Like, you got your YouTube channel, but you also got your Instagram, and you got your TikTok, and each one has its own specific things that you can do and focus on and put out into the world. And as like for myself, as like a painter, musician, whatever, podcaster, I find it overwhelming in the sense of like, I don't want to create content for like 7 different platforms.
Well, I think the key is to, no matter what the algorithm is, and this is where I really just tell myself, this is some hoorah bullshit, right? But
yeah, let's hear it.
No matter what the algorithm is, cross-posting the same content, recutting the same video so it looks different or feels different, or even cross-posting the exact same video is better than not posting anything. And as long as you're posting what you like, that small audience that's everywhere, they're going to follow you. All right, let's put Bowser's smoke. For the visual watchers, we're going to see Bowser.
Yeah.
The real smoke effect.
Oh, no way.
Did the battery die? Oh, I think his batteries died. That's sad. We were just playing with him a lot today. But in the purpose of his mouth,
it actually smokes?
Yeah, it's like a mist. You put water in the back.
Okay.
Maybe it was turned off. Yes, there it is, my guy. Genius. Good thinking. Huzzah.
Oh, look at that.
Love
Lighting
it.
up and steam coming out of there.
That's amazing. Everyone is better having seen that now. If you didn't go, only $29. I'm a sucker. I thought it was a steal. They didn't even ask for it. I was just
Oh,
like,
crazy.
real smoke effect. You guys gotta have this.
So what do you look for? Like when you're looking for different things to get online or like for collectibles and whatnot, what is your like do you just kind of like generally browse or do you have specific things that you're looking for? Oh,
A lot
yeah.
of times I window shop online a lot and kind of
Who
gauge the
likes
market
out?
to try and look for it in person and see what a good price is.
Mhm.
Right now, I've been obsessed with Dragon Ball Z comics because I
I
can
saw some of your videos
find
there.
them anywhere. Yeah, man, they are. So the more I dig into the rabbit hole,
That's your smoke.
yeah,
Yeah.
great smoke, man.
Ah!
It's just that because they're so. The more I dive into
lights
the rabbit hole,
It
there's
lights up.
an unreal amount of printings on the
It
first run.
lights up.
Yep.
Getting first prints makes it more rare or harder to
It
find.
lights
Right.
They're hard to tell apart. But then in the later printings, like the part 5, the volume 5s, there are no reprints. And so even the first printings,
Oh, yeah.
as it got to the end, they printed less and less. Oh, yeah?
Who lights up?
There's light.
Yeah, he lights up.
Fascinating. You want to go into Clark's room and take this? Bowser too, dude. Yeah.
Bye, Bowser. Bye, Peter.
I can't believe I didn't think of that sooner, man. What a failed dad. I was so happy, really, about him just being involved. It was kind of like that's the main thing I can say about kids. There's 2 things that I always say: they're fun until they're not, and they're the best 2 mistakes I've ever made. So that's yeah. Now you gotta have fun with it, I guess.
Oh man, like I don't have any of my own kids, but I have what is it, nine nieces and nephews. Another one on the way, and they're all like ranging from baby to 17. So it's like
wow.
I'm the uncle, the eternal uncle. I've always so I'm used to kids all the time.
Isn't that wild though? So I mean, just to kind of touch on the 17-year-old, right? My oldest nephew, my first experience with a baby around was he's just turned. Well, he will be 18 in October, so same age, I guess. He's actually, how crazy is that, man? To see that's the first adult that ever walked from a baby to it, right? I mean,
I feel like an senior citizen.
How has no time passed at all? But it's been 20 years, It's wild.
Time is an illusion. If we want to go down that path, time is an illusion, and everything is happening all at once.
Yeah, you can't dispute that. What do you say to that?
Yeah, it's like I teach guitar as well. Right now, I just have a couple students, but I used to have I think at my most I had 60 students a week. Wow. And most, I would say 99% of them were under the age of 15, right? So you get used to all these different personalities and how, especially in this day and age where they all have their social media accounts and they know how to use computers better than I do and they know how to do everything, pretty much everything better than me, except for guitar, which is why they came to me for lessons.
They can probably shop on Amazon a little bit better, at the very least.
I just didn't tell them where they could find free guitar lessons online because I
no, man, I don't think so. I would see and I'll say I've been watching the Marty Schwartz videos. And
Marty Schwartz!
I
Love
can't
Marty.
get to video 3, man, because I feel like from 1 to 2 to 3 is what he expects you to have picked up.
Yeah.
So I've watched video 1 and 2 a lot and gone back and forth between those and played around. But also, we live in an apartment on the 2nd floor in our
you don't get a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I don't really want to be that kind of a dick. I was letting Clark. We bought Clark his own baby size guitar, electric guitar for baby size, kid size, youth size, whatever. Just a smaller for Christmas this last year. We let him practice a little bit, but it's just disruptive. So now that we're going to be in a house, we're both going to commit to learning the guitar.
Sure.
I think it'll be great. I feel like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I've always been so intimidated by the guitar. I don't know.
No, one of my oldest students was 75. Never played before in his life.
Wow.
And he just wanted to learn how to play a fingerstyle classical song for his wife for their 50th wedding anniversary. And he was able to do it. He had arthritis. He was, it's Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it if you have the will. It's just a matter of like realizing how the brain learns. Like, just as you said, you weren't super into comics until later in life, right? And now you're learning all these new things of all these different things. It's the same idea, but we're just adding the physical aspect with guitar.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. And another, my buddy Whack Daniels on Twitch, 2 L's in Daniels. His brother Tim is like just fantastic. Is your favorite song? Do you want everyone to know your favorite song right now?
Yeah.
Are you a dinosaur right now? Chomping and a stomping?
No.
No. You want to get back to Clark's room though?
No.
Why not? All right. Well, you can stay here, but I'm gonna turn this off. Okay. Does that work?
He's just so excited to be on the Macaulay Project podcast.
And the fact that he can see the visual, he's like, I can see.
Right.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And that's
I
the thing too. I don't know if maybe I'm undercutting him. I don't want to make it seem like he was definitely advanced because of all the time my wife spent at home with him. But I don't know if he would have at 3 been as comfortable or acknowledged a FaceTime video. 2020. I mean, March of 2020 he was born, so it was right before the world shut down. So. I mean, he met everyone for the first time kind of on a video chat.
Yeah, man. It's a super interesting kind of concept, too. Like, I remember being, like, 6 or 7 years old, and my brothers and I would build forts, and we'd have walkie-talkies, which we thought were the craziest thing in the world. Oh, we can talk to each other in separate rooms or on the other side of the house, and it's like... That's the future, man. Walkie-talkies are the future, and we would have never even been able to dream up what we have now. And to be able to grow up in that atmosphere where you have the video chats, it's basically Star Trek that you're living in with all the technology.
And that's the perfect example. I mean, I think everyone kind of always goes back to Star Trek, and then having the watches. They talked to each other through watches. You know, they didn't have the screen room or whatever. They weren't visual, but we're even more advanced, really, than Star Trek even dreamed up. With
especially with their computer screens.
yeah, man. Just wait until we can get the teleports. That's going to be the kicker.
Oh man.
I don't funny. Know. I would be.
We'll get the teleporters, and then I won't even have anywhere to go.
It'll feel like a chore. Like, I don't want to take a trip. You know?
Yeah, it's just I have to walk over to the other side of the room to the teleporter.
I gotta displace my atoms. Come on, man.
It just seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah, I think every science behind that involves ripping someone apart and putting them back together in some capacity.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I trust it either.
Yeah, well, why would we? It doesn't exist, right? But, you know.
No, let me do it.
Oh, there was a thing. Maybe it was Neil Tyson DeGrasse or whatever the guy's name is. It may or may not have been. I could be misquoting that. But I saw something about if it were possible, they can't guarantee that it would put your DNA or genetics or cells back together in the exact same order. So you technically wouldn't be the same you every time you were, like, put back to. And I thought that was like a kind of an interesting. Just a wild, trippy thing,
Yeah, it's like, you're not the same you. It's Lincoln's axe or whatever they call it, where it's like Lincoln's axe is still in the museum, but the head was changed 3 times and the handle was changed 5 times. Is it still the same?
Right, yeah. How
the ship
much
of Theseus
is preservation before it's no longer the original item kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask you about... specifically wrestling, because I see the John Cena stuff, and I used to watch wrestling a lot as a kid, and I still do. Macho Man, Randy Savage, I always bust that out, Elizabeth.
That's solid. I like that. You just need the glasses, man. I believe.
Nothing means nothing, Gene Okerlund. Yeah, I'm coming for you, Tito Santana. I do that voice all the time.
All of the audio-only listeners know he did not get Randy Savage back from the grave to do that or record that. That is not AI. That is him doing that voice.
I just take it from I've been doing it for a while, but I got better at it from watching Will Sasso on his podcast, Dudesy. Will Sasso, he was on Mad TV back in the day. But he loves wrestling. He actually was on WWE a couple times, like as a guest appearance.
Is he the bald guy?
Yeah, bald guy, and
Okay,
he does.
bigger, chubbier guy. Okay, I know
Yeah,
exactly
he
what you're talking
does
about.
Macho Man, but his Hulk Hogan is amazing. He does
Yes,
Hulk
I have
Hogan all
heard
the
his
time.
Hulk Hogan. Yes, the way he says "brother," dude, is impeccable. Like,
He's like, whoa, oh, hold on a
yeah,
second, dude.
Don't
Hold on a
touch
second,
my.
brother. Oh, let me tell you something about that, brother.
that dude, yeah. Dude, that's crazy. I watched so much Mad TV,
Oh, your mic went off there.
man. He
Your
actually,
mic went off for a second.
speaking of John Cena, was on there with Bobby Lee. He had a skit back.
Oh
in the day
yeah,
on
that's
YouTube.
right.
That's crazy. That was a long time ago. Wow. He kept chopping him. He would wake him up and just chop him. That was so stupid. Wow. What a pro wrestler skit. That
Oh man. Well, like, so, do you keep up with the wrestling today? You still watching?
yeah. So I don't really watch it as far as like turning it on the TV and watching it. But I mean, with social media, man, it's so easy to keep
Right.
up with the
Yeah.
result and the clips and what matters they show you. And I don't. So if I remember, turn on the free stuff on Fox.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And man, these video watchers, listeners, man, they're getting their money's worth with this Bowser toy. If you guys aren't watching the real smoke effect on Bowser on the YouTube channel, man, you guys are missing it. Wild. It's a whole other show in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's gonna be so used to being on the camera. He's gonna
It's so
do the influencing
big.
so easy. Oh yeah.
It's so
He
big.
is so big. It's wild. He's bigger than you, dude. But yeah, I keep up with the happenings. I definitely do. And I did subscribe to Sling TV when they announced Cena was coming back for WrestleMania. What's weird is just kind of going by the time thing. I feel very much that when I was a kid watching wrestling actively,
Look that tail.
Yep.
Look that tail.
Yeah, look at that tail.
I'm one of those old people. When Hulk Hogan would come back, you're like, oh, I love Hulk Hogan. He's good, but I
Right.
couldn't imagine him being my favorite. I feel like
Yeah.
that guy with John Cena now, except John Cena is still little kids' favorite. So it's
Yeah.
wild. I don't feel like anyone like him has transcended generations for so many generations. You know,
Yeah.
obviously there's wrestlers that transcend generations and transcend wrestling. But
There's
20 years is a
2,
long career, man, to
3, 5,
continue to be active in
6,
wrestling and promoted at WrestleMania and stuff like that. But
7,
yeah, I keep
8,
up. I enjoy it. I
9,
love it. There's
10,
too much of it is the
11,
answer.
Oh yeah, I know. There's so many different, like, I follow a few accounts on Instagram and some subreddits, and I'm just like, just try to keep one foot in the pond of wrestling and be like, oh, I kind of know what's going on. I kind of know who's doing what. But mainly, I'm a Macho Man Randy Savage guy.
Well, he's the best guy, and his cream of the crop promo is second to none. That
Oh,
really
it's
is
amazing.
phenomenal.
Tito Santana's
Funny story, actually.
Bowser.
Social Clark. Yeah, that's awesome. Funny story. When I worked for Comcast, my first quarterly meeting, I believe, I had just started training to do pro wrestling, actually. So
Nice.
I may or may not be done. I got my whole life ahead of me, but I don't have any dates in the books or any plans to have a match currently. However, they found out, and basically they were going to give someone an award. He had started just before me, and I had just gotten out in the field doing door-to-door
Yep.
sales. So they're presenting him with an award for the previous quarter. But him and the district manager, the district manager and I, put together a thing. They were going to present him with the award, but I come up and do a Macho Man promo and take the award from him and tell him why I'm better than him. And it was just a really cool time. It was really fun, There was a cool atmosphere there, and a lot of fun working for that company. Despite having to do door-to-door sales for 3 years, there were some pretty cool things that they try to do for the employees and stuff. But yeah, just Macho Man tip. I don't have the best Macho Man impression. I'm not going to do it when you have yours so good. I just wore a purple tank top, that said Macho Man. Like it was cool.
You just need to get that accent from Florida.
The only thing I ever quote is anytime like the kids are up or doing something, Bonesaw from the first Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
What are you doing up there? Anytime there's somewhere I don't want him to be. It's not
right.
Necessarily. What are you doing up there?
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah. It's like staying away from you. Yeah, I love that. Fun fact, actually, I didn't get into wrestling until like early 2000s, probably watching every single week about 2003, 2004.
It's
Yep.
So
Don't
when the first Spider-Man came out, I didn't even know Bonesaw was Macho Man Randy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's something that I don't like telling people that's now on the internet forever.
Hey, that's all
Everyone's like,
right.
You didn't know Randy Savage? I knew Spider-Man.
It's funny with wrestling because there's so much of it over the years, even back in the 80s and 90s. Like, they were going for so long. It's like saying, oh, do you remember that part on Days of Our Lives? You know, in episode 2048? It's like,
Nothing will beat soap operas in the number of episodes. It's impossible. But, I mean, wrestling, Monday Night Raw is the longest running weekly episodic television show in history. So, I mean, even longer than The Simpsons, which is crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's been on forever.
I know they're going on season 32, 33, something like that.
Yeah, wild.
And then they just got renewed till 2025, so it's just going to keep coming.
Wow.
I don't understand how they can keep doing it. Like, I don't get it. I don't know why they want to.
As long as they know the future, they can come up with anything they want, right?
Yeah, I know. They keep predicting stuff. I just feel like, you know, you had your early seasons with like Conan writing and all that. And it could have been great. Like, even Seinfeld only went 9 seasons. And it's like, they could have ended at 12, 13, 14. They could have even ended at 20.
You know what's one thing that's been different recently, too, and I thought it's so funny, is ever since Fox was acquired by Disney, I go to Target, and there's Bart Simpson stuff in the kids section now. Like, the Simpsons were never marketed to kids in that way, but it's interesting now that Disney acquired it, they're kind of, they have Disney stuff on Disney Plus. They got the Star Wars shorts and really more household marketing. And the content hasn't changed necessarily, but the drastic change in marketing I thought was interesting.
Yeah, even I was watching Mandalorian last night, and I was thinking about that as well. It's like, it's no longer about the shows. It was like, Mandalorian is only like half an hour long most weeks, and it's just like, it's not trying to be anything other than like a really cool thing that you watch for half an hour a week, you know?
No.
And it's just like, oh, they're just creating an atmosphere for people to go on a subreddit to talk about, or to buy a baby Grogu doll or something like that, and just kind of...
I mean, I feel like our generation, my generation, the generation that's currently like running the world, I guess, the working class generation, 30s, 40s or whatever. I mean, they were kind of groomed and conditioned for that in the 80s when they first started producing like toys, cartoons just for toys, like your Ninja Turtles,
like Power Rangers,
your what is it? Martian mice from Mars, biker mice
from Mars, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like these off the wall mutant crazy
Street Sharks.
We have toys. How do we sell the toys? So like, I mean, really, it's been our whole lives. And then now, you know, the nostalgia factor is like, I was thinking earlier today, man, like our generation, just even to segment that with Cena, is like, I'm still buying his merch anytime they pump out a shirt and a hat and wristbands, and my kids are getting one, and you know, I'm a grown man. We kept our childhood heroes alive, you know, like David Hasselhoff. His generation didn't give a shit about him when he got older. The nostalgia factor plays so much into creating long-term careers for people now, and cons, and it's just a totally different atmosphere. But yeah, everything's marketing, I guess, is everything is. Yeah.
Everything is.
And I mean, they created all. Think of it this way: they created the whole Mandalorian show almost for Baby Yoda. For like,
exactly.
They created lore for this cute little Yoda. Like, he existed before anything else, almost. I don't know.
That's exactly what it is. No, I totally agree.
I made that up, right? But
no, I totally agree.
Like, it's crazy.
I totally agree. And like, I come from a different kind of direction with all of this stuff, because I was never really one for buying things other than G.I. Joes when I was a kid. But when I got into painting and all that, I was like, oh, I can create my own pop art. I can create my own merchandise of the things I like. So in the back here, you can kind of see I got my Jack Black portrait that I did.
I didn't realize that was Jack Black. That's amazing. I love Jack Black so much.
And I've got like, I did a few different Star Trek paintings and Star Wars paintings and all of that. And it's like,
so have you always painted like your whole life, or?
No, see, that's a crazy thing. I actually didn't start painting till I was like 26. Wow. I'd never painted before in my life, other than like maybe in school to do like a an assignment or something in art class. But other than that, I never painted, and it was more so I had moved from one province to a different province, and then back, and I was in a new apartment. I didn't have a TV at the time. I didn't have Xbox. I didn't have any of that kind of stuff going on, and I just had some old cardboard and some paints that an ex had given me, and I was like, well, I'm bored. Let's create my own content here. And so I just started painting out of pure boredom. And I would just be like, what's the stupidest thing I could paint? Because I already knew I wasn't good. I was just like, I wasn't in it for anything other than just like my own self-entertainment. And then I was like, Instagram was a thing already, but it wasn't like what it is now. It was just people posting whatever. They didn't even have the algorithm of like, you could just be the first one in line if you just posted all the time.
Yeah, and everyone was putting these filters on it. It was these dramatic,
And so I would just archive. I was just using Instagram as an archive, and I would just take a picture, put it on Instagram, and I was like, not even think about it. Most of the time, I would just paint something, take a picture, throw it away, because it was just like an old cereal boxes cut up, right? Man. And then all of a sudden, I did one of Baby Dory. I did a painting of Baby Dory, and somebody messaged me and is like, I want to buy that for my kid. And I was like, what? And so I ended up, just like a few bucks. But I was like, oh, I guess I could try to do something on like real canvas and all of that. And so I started doing that. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, I'm a painter now, I guess. And and so I just kept going with it. And I learned a lot just through trial and error, but I never set out to be a painter. Wow. And even now, I don't even really consider myself a painter unless I'm literally doing the act of painting.
Well, I will say, man, dude, if you would have showed me that Jack Black photo and not said this is my photo of Jack Black that I did, I would have still known that was Jack Black. Like that's
good.
Work. That's a start. Right? That's phenomenal. And it looks stylistic. So as you get I don't know, an audience, I'll say. I mean, sure. You have recognizable work. People would be able to look at it and just kind of recognize. Because the texturing in the hair looks similar to the texturing in the beard. Like kind of the stylistic of it looks similar. I could say if I was familiar.
All I really want is Jack Black to see it. That's it.
Is there a post? How can I share
it? I've tried tagging him in it and all that. And it hasn't happened yet. I'll say yet. I think what I need to do is I need to do a few other celebrity portraits of not A-list celebrities, but like the really obscure ones. And I'm sure that they'll see it because they're like, well, I'm not working right now, but somebody made a painting of me.
You got to work your way up the hierarchy of celebrity acknowledgement.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'll do an Andy Dick painting or something.
That's awesome.
That'd be the worst.
Honestly, I mean, that's a fair strategy. I mean, what could it hurt?
You know what? Now that I've said it out loud, I think it would actually be hilarious to do an Andy Dick painting. Because why would anybody do an Andy Dick painting?
You're going to sell it. Someone's going to buy it for their daughter.
Right. And then I'll be like, hey, you want to see my dick painting?
I love it. As a matter of fact, you just hit my DMs later at school. And you can cut that part out. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I'm going to need that picture without your shirt on.
Yeah, and if you could take off those socks, that would be great. That would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's such a weird thing living in an era where people can't, like we were talking about before we started recording about the online shopping and stuff.
Yes.
Now people can buy whatever pop art merch that they want, even from artists like myself. Like they can commission and be like, hey, can you do like a Darth Vader painting? It's like, sure, I could do that. And then you just kind of work it out. And so it's become super specific, and it's like, where was I going with this? I think it was more like, what do you even paint when everything is out there? And you're just like, I don't know where to go except for Andy Dick. It's just like, that's it.
You could kind of, so it depends on what you're into and what you like. I would say, so whatever's news today in whatever you like to paint. And I use that as a crutch sometimes too, because I'll follow art accounts or artists
Yeah.
on Instagram. And when the new episode of The Mandalorian comes out, here's a picture of Grogu. And
Right.
so if it's relevant, if you have things, since everything is always there, if you just
Yeah.
keep up with what's always there and people are paying attention to, if you're interested in that or feel compelled to make art
Sure.
involved in that, because then you could connect with people through your art, but because of Mandalorian, so
Yeah.
yeah,
And I was doing that for a while, like with different pop culture stuff, and then I hit a point where I was like, I kind of hate it.
But what about music though? Even like do you have favorite bands or like Avenged Sevenfold has a new album coming out, right? So
Oh yeah,
guitar and stuff. If you could do paint, the bat in the skull or the Avenged Sevenfold, or just to say like whatever you would like, I don't know.
yeah. It's a funny
Or
thing
Andy
because
Dick, dude. Why
I
would
think it's the best idea that there is right now. I think that's where we've come to because I think about it and it's like, you know what? I could do it. Like I've done actually a baby Grogu painting. I've done those things and I've come to this point and I find it actually super hilarious where it's now I do paintings like even the Jack Black one, like that was when I was at like peak. Yeah, I'm going to paint something that's whatever. And now I've come to this point where it's like, what is the most useless thing I can paint? What is the most stupid, not necessarily stupid in the sense of like, oh, that's so stupid, but like the dumbest idea where it's like, no one would do that and do it in a way that requires a different kind of mindset where like I did this one painting, I never shared it. I did this one painting where it was like I painted it as if I was like a kindergarten kid. And it was just like this big painting of a T-Rex, but
that
it
sounds
looked
just like a good way to just mess up and just like this is just gonna
Can I do the worst possible? Can I make the worst painting I'll ever paint? And it's like, sure, if I worked really hard, I could do the best thing I could ever paint. I could do the best one.
But how
if
would
I
it
worked
even
really
be
hard.
your worst? Because if it's so bad, then it isn't the best worst you could have done.
Right. Exactly. And that is where you get to, and you're like, oh, but then if you're thinking about it, then it is going to be the worst, but then it won't be, but then it will be, but then it won't
that's
be.
what I was trying to do. So I completely, successfully, positively
Failed.
in a way that I can feel good about. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like that's amazing.
Yeah, like even with like videos for content on like Instagram and stuff, I don't do a whole lot of reels or anything like that. But whenever I do something, I'm always like, what is something that would be really stupid, and then can I make it dumber? And then can I make it so no one understands it except for me? Like they you don't even let them in. Like it's an inside joke with yourself, and you don't let anybody in.
See, that's super fun because like a lot of times my humor in the reels I do make, right, are like maybe they're a little perverted or maybe it's just stupid on purpose. I'm a big fan of stupid on purpose. Like
Yes,
kind of
that's
like
great.
Like Workaholics, for example.
Love it.
That I think Workaholics is an example of like really crossing the line on raunchy a lot of the time. So it's not always that hard, but that's probably one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
That's great.
But that's stupid on purpose, like being deliberately stupid, and then people think you're actually stupid. So it's
Yes.
in a sense, I guess you could use the word trolling, but not in a lighthearted jab kind of way, not like a dickhead internet comment kind of way. Anyways, my wife hates it. She gets it, and a lot of times she will like because she loves Workaholics. We watch it together from beginning to end, like but she loves it and hates it, and sometimes when she can't help but appreciate it, that's what I love the most. But then I say all that to say a lot of the reels I make and the perverted, especially, she's always like, don't say that, we're a family account. And I'm like,
right.
You become a family only one way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we became a family somehow. And just because we're a family doesn't necessarily mean we're friendly. Those are my go-tos, right? But
yeah, it's like the Osbournes.
My reels are jokes she doesn't laugh at. And I'm hoping to find the dudes on the internet that will laugh with me. So where you're like, hey, I don't want you to get this. This is my thing. I'm like, please give me your
Yeah.
your affirmation, I guess.
If anything, if she doesn't laugh at it, you know you're on the right track.
Exactly. And I'm like, oh, I'm making a reel out of that. You know, there's so
Yeah.
many times where like the reels are literally just they'll be recreated for the reel because they were real life like one-liners or jokes or just things that
Right.
I'm like, that's funny as fuck. Or like Clark will just die laughing, can't breathe, and I'm like, all right, we got to recreate that for a reel. So it doesn't ever hit the same when we make the reel, but we can at least look at that reel and be like, yo, remember when that actually happened? You know, so it's cool in that way.
I do have one goal in life, and that is to eventually do stand-up comedy. And
I would love
I've never done it, but even if it's just one time, I just need to do it. But the goal is, can I do a set and have no one laugh, but also no heckling, and also no pity laughs, like just silence, where people are so uninterested in what just happened that it
So
becomes
what
hilarious for me.
What if instead, if I don't know, that's just I just don't feel like without like maybe making that a challenge for the audience. No one making any noise because I feel like you'll get one way or the other. It could be very negative. It could be there'll be some sort of noise or reaction. I feel like, but if you were like, hey,
But then
he's
it's not
gonna end-
it's not pure though. You
It's
need
not.
you need the purity of not telling anybody anything and having them so disinterested, but yet you still said something for like 5 minutes.
That man, if you could pull that off, I think that's why obviously we thought it because it's so impossible. But the impossibility of that is stressing me out. Maybe it's a control
Exactly.
thing. Maybe it's a control thing, man. Maybe. Interesting.
I find it hilarious even just thinking about it, where it's like they don't laugh. They're not necessarily confused. They're just
They're not
so
turned
right. They don't hate you or anything. It's just that they just you push them to the point where they just don't care about anything you did or said.
So they're not perplexed or on the edge of their seat for any reason. They're not in a. They're just like
They're not offended. Nothing.
I'm existing
Yes.
for this next set.
So we're here now. That's it. That's
Okay.
it.
Well, I don't even want to say that would be an easy act to follow. That one, I would say, hey, good luck to the next guy. He's going to be able to pick him up, but who knows? At that
Right. Maybe everybody will forget you even did it.
I will literally start the zombie apocalypse at that point.
Yeah.
He's going to start biting everyone else in the rest of the town. That's
Yeah. That literally caused cancer. Like, it was so uninteresting.
it's like damn it, the Office, the Michael's Tots or whatever. But instead,
Oh
of
yeah, the
not getting
Scott's
college,
Tots.
they all
Yeah.
yeah, Scott's Tots. That's what it was. Yes, that's what was throwing me off. Michael doesn't rhyme with Tots. What is it?
Michael's Tykles. I don't know.
It works. Mike's Tyke.
Mike's Tykes. That's
Mike's
better.
Tyke. There we go. And that's why we didn't write for The Office, man. Jeez.
No. Because I'd be like, you know what? We really need to feature Andy Dick in this.
You gotta go. Get out of here. That's so funny. But look at this painting, though.
Right.
That has to happen now. That's gotta be it. If not, I'm like, why are you? Every time you post something that's not, I'm just gonna comment, why did you post this?
Like I remember on Reddit a few months back, this guy who's a painter made it to the front page because he did a painting of himself painting, and then he took a picture of himself next to the painting. And it was like a really good, realistic. Did you see this?
No.
And then the next week, he posted another painting of the picture that he took of that. And I think he did it for like 6 or 7 weeks. Every week, he had a new painting that just kept being more recursive than the last. And it was so good every time. And it was just, I'm like, that is what it's about. It's not about each painting. It's about the progression of the paintings over time, which is the art. And it's just such a funny idea that he did it.
Well, then let me ask this, because you did mention throwing away a lot of your original stuff in the beginning, because it was just painted on scrap. What is the earliest piece that you have still in your collection, and what is your favorite piece that you have in your collection?
Oh, okay. The earliest piece I have is it was actually the very first one I did, and I didn't throw it away. And it was on it was like just a little thin canvas, and it's of the TARDIS from Doctor Who.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And it's terrible, but it's only about like 6-7 inches. And actually somebody wanted it, and I was like, no, I'm keeping this one. And then, but like it's terrible. And
Do you
I
put like
prob-
words and stuff on it? Like, is it detailed or I mean?
oh no, it's really sloppy. I'll send you a picture if I can
Yeah.
pull it out. But my favorite one, oh, that's a totally different kind of.
And I know that's hard,
world.
and I know that there's so many asterisks on that, like emotional response or what it did for you in the moment, or the memory of painting it, or I know there's a caveat of that. But is there one that you felt most accomplished after doing, or you pushed yourself the most to progress on?
Yeah, I would have to say it was probably the Jack Black one because it
Okay.
was just like something that.
Would that be why it's displayed? Like, are the ones displayed or kind of?
Yeah, they're a little more. Yeah, I put up the ones that are like the ones I feel like, yeah, I did good on that one. Although, like, that's just this room. In other rooms, I have, I still hang up terrible ones. More so because I find them funny. I have this one painting, and brings it back to this whole idea of throwing people off. And I did this one painting. It's one of the biggest paintings I've done, and it's of this guy, me, but there's another guy who's like made out of brains breaking out of the head and he's being held up, so it looks like this, just holding his hand out, but there's this like the brain has crawled out of the guy's skull and it's like blood everywhere and just used tons of red paint and it's like super gory, but the background's super colorful and like teals and turquoise and orange and purples and pinks, and it's really nice, except for this guy crawling out of this other guy's skull. And I had it hanging up in the living room, and I'd have people over, and people would just kind of glance at it, and then they would never mention it. But it's this huge, colorful painting of a brain becoming a person and breaking out of somebody's skull. And it's like the most disgusting thing you could think of, and no one would mention it. And
So
I
were you
just thought
looking
that was
for some sort of mention?
no. I thought it was better that they didn't,
So okay.
because it's like, what would bring a person to see something like that and then not say anything?
Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of the same. No response, kind of.
Yes,
Okay.
I love the no response.
Because-
I don't know why.
I think in that instance, it's just got to be because they don't want you to explain that to them.
Yes,
That
that could be.
Please don't.
Please.
Now,
I don't
is it
want to
still
know
up?
this
Did you
person.
replace it with anything?
Yeah, I took it down. I put it into
Now,
storage.
Do people ask about whatever you replaced it with? Is there any sort of? Is it like? Okay, I didn't know. If
No,
it was
I haven't. Well, actually, yeah.
like
People,
having a cursed painting that you pass around.
you know what? I should just give it to somebody and act like I really want them to have it, and then just watch their reaction of like, thank you.
That would be perfect.
It's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that to somebody. Well,
So-
maybe a couple friends I would.
This is so random and so stupid, but it just popped in my head, which was so relevant in the beginning. It's kind of like a good comedian set, right? You can kind of bring it back around when
Yeah.
you know. How do you know Obar? I never asked you that. I never returned that question.
His younger brother, me and him, we went to school together.
Wow.
For
okay.
years. We were in the same classes for years. And so, yeah, Obar's a few years older than me, and he was friends with my older brothers. So we actually, we've known each other for a very, very long time.
Practically grew up together. I mean, that's
Yeah.
wild. Okay, yeah. It's simple. I couldn't believe as soon as that came into my head, I was like, how the hell did I not ask that when we were literally? But
Yeah, no, it's really interesting in the sense of like this online stuff, doing the long distance. It feels like there is no distance. It's like,
right. And there is
Anybody you want.
What's amazing is just the connection you can have with people. So there was a small enough connection, no matter how small or large, between Obar and I, that no matter how much our content was about fitness or how much mine got away from fitness, there was still enough connection there the whole time for someone who I never would have met without the internet. You
Right.
know? And so many people in California, actually, AV Pop Shop, Orlando, he owns AV Pop Shop in Lancaster, California. Hit him up.
oh, cool.
Trying to give everyone shout outs, but he's
Sure.
actually brought me out to California twice. I had the opportunity because of him to meet Rey Mysterio Sr. And then my
Woo.
oldest son and I just were there in February to meet Mick Foley. So he provided us these opportunities because we met because of our Instagram page.
Right.
Man.
That's
So
crazy, man.
I just it's I can't even count, I don't think, on both hands the number of genuine friends I've made across the country and some even worldwide, because of having a kid and seeing Ryan's toy review on YouTube. And we haven't grown. It's not a job. We're not successful at it per se, like quote
Right.
unquote. Like we're not making a living doing it, but I enjoy it. It's fun. I
Sure.
love it. I get to. I already collected a bunch of shit, man. I
Yeah.
made it show
Yeah.
it to people who think it's cool because my wife damn sure doesn't.
Right.
And I don't know how I even, man. We've known each other since high school. I used to wear John Cena hat, shirt, and wristbands to high school, dude.
You were invisible. We get
Dude,
it.
how did you even see me? It didn't make any sense. But how in the world do you ever date a guy who goes to high school like that, man? But go me, lucky me. It's the personality, man. I just,
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, no, man, this has been good so far. I feel like we made new friends.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, if you don't think so, I do. So it doesn't matter.
No, for sure.
I'm always worried about my own.
No, it's great. It's the parasocial relationships that have come from social media. It's funny because when I was really heavy into painting and posting a lot, I ended up making friends like you said, worldwide. And I would talk to people I'd never met before about painting, and we just chat for hours just about like different things. And it's like, and I never had those conversations with my in real life friends, just like,
right.
But because it's so specific, like we were talking about before, everything's gotten so specific. You can find those friends about like something that it's like a 1 in a million thing that two people would actually understand, and you get to talk to that other one person about that one thing, maybe nothing else.
Even what's crazier, I mean, even to shrink it a little bit, what's wild is I'm in a group called Kansas City Comic Collectors. It's a very specific group, dude. Because of Instagram, I met a guy local to me, 20 minutes away, 30 minutes away. Great friend of mine now, Tyler Alexander, T Alexander 93, I think, on Instagram. Give him a shout out. One of my best friends now, man, because of comics, because of Invincible, the TV show, because I posted on Instagram. And it started with Funko Pops, and it grew into comics because I just got sick of Funko Pops. But I bring that up because he introduced me to Kansas City Comic Collectors Group, and now I'm in a local group of like 6,000 people, and I have a con every single month of this year for the first 7 months, I think, through July, where I'm setting up and selling at because I got introduced to this local group, and now I'm at every event locally selling. So, but the internet still did that,
Right.
Like
Yeah,
it's our
crazy,
newspapers now, So it is what you make of it, and I don't mean to downplay anyone's mental health or cyberbullying. It's very serious and very important, but you can click block. You can restrict access to anyone that you want to, and you can give access to anyone that you want to, and you can find those people. It's curated, you can really make it where, and I have people like, yeah, man, I did it because I don't have people locally who I didn't think I had people locally.
Sure.
I think people I went to high school with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it just expands everything, man. It's amazing. Yeah.
It brings everybody together.
Yeah.
And some people apart, but
it brings you want it to bring you. It can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's it. Garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's why I like doing this podcast. This podcast is like I've done other ones in the past that were more like either comedy based or just like really off the rails, whatever. But this one, I wanted it to be more like I wanted to talk to people I've never met before. I wanted to talk to people who are just doing interesting things. Yeah, and so it's like already I've done, this is episode 10 overall. I just call it season 2, episode 2, because I needed new computers. And so I spent all that time not having any way to record anything. So I'm like, well, the next part will just be season 2. Let's just call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this will be episode 10. And it's like, okay, some of them were my friends, but a few of them were people I never really, even Ober, I never really sat down and talked to him like that before.
Right.
We were like grew up together and we know each other, but we never.
Amazing too is it did feel like you guys were kind of having that conversation for the first time, so it was really easily to go back and forth and ask those genuine questions and really learn about something, and that makes it really fun. I think don't touch that. I don't know if it came through. He's touching the mic.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
But no, I think that's one thing. Even with some of my best friends that I've made in the comic book community, one of the things that really attracted me to them was, yes, we connected over comic books, but there was so much about different heroes or different books or different keys or what they search for, what they collect. Like they're just a fountain of knowledge, but it's a knowledge of something that I really care about and I'm interested in. And then I can apply that to digging through boxes, and it's exciting and it makes everything really fun. So I mean, it was really fun to listen to the episode with you and Obar earlier because it was, I feel like I was learning too, but one of my favorite things about him really is just his analogies and the way he's like, you put gas into a gas tank, it's going to overflow. And then that's what body fat is. And, obviously he says it more graceful. He says it more smart alecky than I could. More clever, got better delivery for sure. But
he's good at what he does.
I love it, man. Yeah. It's making it all, like click, like, duh, why didn't I think of that,
Yeah.
Get some more.
I was going to ask you, because unfortunately I have to run right away, so we'll start wrapping it up. But I was going to ask you, do you have anything coming up that you want to let people know about, or any other shout outs you want to do?
Yes, absolutely. Check out our YouTube, Harris Family Hobbies, because we're going to stream tonight, actually, for about an hour here. I don't know when this is going to air, but it's going to be up after the fact. So just know we're going to have new and fresh content by the time you listen to this. But yeah, if you're local, I'm going to be out in Lawrence, Kansas for Collectorama, and then I'm also going to be in Independence, Missouri, for the show at the DAV. I don't know what it is. Collect a con, something. I don't know. Cons here, Kansas City Comic Collectors Group. Join that if you're on Facebook and here in the Kansas City area. But that's it. Follow our social media. There's no structure to it. We're just going to post entertaining reels that you can laugh at in between the events that we'll tell you about when they're there. So.
Awesome. Well, this has been great, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for being so patient and just kind of taking everything in stride, man.
Hey, this is what it's all about. That's why I like podcasts. Anything can happen. Everything is okay, man. There's There's nothing wrong with anything. you just go
I like
with it.
that. Yeah, there's no, and you know what? And I won't ask about the brain crawling out of your head right now, man. That's it.
Well, wait till you see the Andy Dick painting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. All I'm picturing this whole time is just an actual dick, characterized.
But
God.
And then you just write, like in Toy Story, how he writes Andy on the bottom of his foot. That's just written on it.
On the bottom side of the. Oh my God, I love it. That's fantastic, and I hate it.
Oh man, that is too good.
To have you, man. Really, this has been a pleasure, and I just appreciate you thinking of me and asking, and then even after technical difficulties, remembering me. Oh, my wife would say, "Hey, stop it! You're gonna make his head too big." I appreciate it. No, thank you. Really, it's been awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man. This is good. Well, thanks everybody for listening or watching on YouTube, and we'll be back again. Well, we'll see who we get next. I'll catch you later.